What's up, guys, and welcome back to my reading journey. I hope we're all absolutely fine. And today, as usual, we're gonna continue with the essay by Seneca on anger. It's gonna be the 33rd part of the second book, so let's get started. We are treated, says our opponent, with more respect if we revenge our injuries, if we make use of revenge merely as a remedy. Let us use it without anger and not regard revenge as pleasant but as useful. It is better to pretend not to have received an injury than to avenge it. The wrongs of the powerful must not only be borne, but borne with a cheerful countenance. They will repeat the wrong if they think they have inflicted it. This is the worst trait. Sorry. This is the worst trait of minds rendered arrogant by prosperity. They hate those whom they have injured. Everyone knows this saying of the old courtier, who, when someone asked him how he had achieved the rare distinction of living at court till he reached old age, replied, by receiving wrongs and returning thanks for them. It is often so far from expedient to avenge our wrongs that it will not do even to admit them. Gaius Caesar, offended at a smart clothes and well-dressed hair of the son of pastor and distinguished Roman knight, sent him to prison. When the father begged that his son might suffer no harm, Gaius, as if reminded by this to put him to death, ordered him to be executed. Yet, in order to mitigate his brutality to the father, invited him that very day to dinner. Pastor came with a countenance which betrayed no ill will. Caesar pledged him in a glass of wine, and set a man to watch him. The wretched creature went through his part, feeling as though he were drinking his son's blood. The emperor sent him some perfume and other garlands, and gave orders to watch whether he used them. So he did so. On the very day on which he had buried, nay, on which he had not even buried his son, he sat down as one of 100 guests, and, old and gouty as he was, drank to an extent which would have not hardly decent on a child's birthday. He shed no tear the while. He did not permit his grief to betray itself by the slightest sign. He died just as though his entreaties had gained his son's life. You ask me why he did so. He had another son. What did Priam do in the Iliad? Did he not conceal his wrath and embrace his knees to Achilles? Did he not raise to his lips that death-dealing hand, stained with the blood of his son, and supped with his slayer? True, but there were no perfumes and garlands, and his fierce enemy encouraged him with many soothing words to eat, not to drain huge goblets, with the guards standing over him to see that he did it. Had he only feared for himself, the father would have treated the tyrant with scorn, but love for his son quenched his anger. He deserved the emperor's permission to leave the banquet and gather up the bones of his son. But meanwhile, that kindly and polite youth, the emperor would not even permit him to do this, but tormented the old man with frequent invitations to drink, advising him thereby to lighten his sorrows. He, on the other hand, appeared to be in good spirits and have forgotten what had been done that day. He would have lost his second son had he proved an unacceptable guest to the murderer of his eldest. Alright, guys, we're done with the next part. We're gonna continue to more the next one. So, thank you, see you, and bye.